Welcome to the Dream, Dare, Do, Leadership Unleashed podcast. I'm your host, Augustine Azevedo, and today we're going to continue this series of the TEARS method, and we're going to talk about the A. And what that A stands for is action. And I should have put an M in front of the A because it should be massive action towards positive steps forward towards your goals. Because we all want something more out of life, whether it be a better job, better car, better relationship with our significant others, better parent, a better spiritual relationship with our creator, something. We all want more out of life. And in order to get there, let me give you a little backstory about where I'm from. I'm actually from Stockton, California, which is back in the early 70s, 80s. The crime rates were just through the roof. It was just one of the areas that you really don't want to be born and raised in, but my parents had no choice with what they were given in life. So I went from the Stockton streets to the corporate peaks of where I'm at today. And what I wanted to do was, I want to tell you guys a story about one time I was in high school and there was a science teacher, and every week she would give us a test on the things that we learned that week. And this particular Friday, I had two buddies, Rob and Ray at the time, and they were my best friends. And this coming Friday that was coming up for that midterm, we were like, you know what? I think we're all going to be sick that day. So we didn't show up for that test. And come the following week, there was an assembly that the class had to go through. But our teacher says, you know what, Augustine, Rob, and Ray, why don't you guys do the makeup test, the midterm that we gave last week, since you guys were all sick. So they went to the assembly, and she put the answer key in her desk. All right. So Ray, let's just call him the mastermind, he decided it was in our best interest to borrow that answer key and and get those answers all correct. But see, what we didn't know was that throughout our teacher's history of teaching, never, ever has anybody scored 100%. So Rob and Ray, guess what they scored? 100%. Well, what I decided to do when I got that answer key was, you know what? I'm going to skip one. And that way it doesn't look too obvious that, we were borrowing the answer key. And I missed them all. I accidentally skipped two. So I got a 0 on this science test. So when it came time for the teacher to give us our grades, she called the three of us in a room and she's like, you two obviously cheated. Augustine, on the other hand, I don't know if you're super dumb or if something happened because you had the answer key and I don't know what happened. So I'm going to give you another shot. So I was thankful for that. Not everybody gets those second chances in life. So what I did was, I knew I had to study. I had to take some massive action and really focus my time and efforts. She says, I'm going to give you the test tomorrow. So I went home, got the books, and I was up to about 2, 3 in the morning, just reading over and over and trying to memorize this stuff that probably wasn't going to be useful for me in my life. but at that moment in time, I knew I needed to get a great grade on this test. So I took massive action, studied. Then I went to take the test and I scored an 86, even after all that study. And I thought I was going to do better, but it went in the history books that I was probably one of the guys that got one of the best grades throughout that entire semester or school year on a midterm. All right. When it comes to massive action, you want to create a plan. You want to create a plan of where you are, where you want to get to, what are the next steps that you need to take in order to achieve ultimately your better life. And what you do is you got to take massive action each step of the way in order to get there quicker, because time's moving and time is one of the most valuable assets that you and I never get back. So I want to appreciate you investing the time with me here to try to learn something, to try to grow, to try to better your life, your family's life. So when you have those steps written down on paper, you already know the first step that you need to take towards your goals. Get to it. Get in action. Write down what actions you need to take in order to get to that next step, right? Like if you want to get a better body, better health, you've got to work out. That's one of the very first steps. Now, how much do you need to work out? Is it 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Everybody's different. But I remember when I wanted to get into better shape to repair my liver, because my liver was shot, I had to work out twice a day, 30 days in a row. And in my book, I've got it mapped out what I did. I call it the Dirty 30, because it's 30 days of getting dirty, grinding, and really, really focusing your time and your energy on working out twice a day, drinking 3 liters of water, and eating clean, no alcohol, which is one of the hardest parts for me, because I love to have a glass of wine or a beer here and there, you know, and watch some TV with the wife. And so what she did, this is what my wife did. She studied. So there's 2 parts of alcohol. There, you know, I'm not telling you that alcohol is for you. It's not for everybody, but it was for me until my wife created this cheat sheet of all the negative things that wine do to the body and why we should not drink. And then she posted it on our wine rack. Like, I didn't even know she did this. My daughter's the one that told me about it. She goes, "Dad, did you put that paper up there?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Right? I walk over to the wine rack and it's a big 8x10 paper with all these things as to, you know, why we shouldn't drink wine. And she said, it's going to raise your heart rate while you're sleeping. It's going to disturb your sleep. It's going to, what are some of the other things that were on there? It's just going to mess you up health-wise. And it takes 2 to 3 days to recover. And I'm like, oh man. So now every time I walk over to the wine rack, I get depressed. I get depressed because I see this 8x10 paper there with all the rules and I call it rules and regulations as to why me as an adult can't have a glass of wine, you know, but it's okay. I know she's doing it for the best of both of us. And I haven't had a glass since, and it's been about, I want to say about 4 days now. The last time we did have a glass of wine, we had a terrible night's sleep. We were stressed out the following day. It was bad. So I get it, you know. So really, that was the whole gist of that story there, because I wanted to give you some context as to you know, why drinking probably isn't the best thing for you, especially if you want to reach your goals quicker and you're trying to stay healthy. So in the book there, the Dirty 30, it took me 30 days, every single day, working out twice a day, drinking that water, you know, staying hydrated, eating clean, no alcohol, taking before and after pictures. So I'll show you guys the before and after pictures that's coming up. I'll show you guys on Instagram. So if you're not following us on Instagram, please hit me with that follow. It's at Augustine Azevedo, my first and last name. And then if you guys are on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. This helps us grow, and please share this podcast with anybody that needs to better their life, improve their life in any way, shape, or form. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. You know, take massive action towards your goals, one step at a time. Once you get those first steps, it's kind of like it creates a habit forming. You want these actions to be habit forming for you. Like creating these podcasts for me are starting to become a habit for me, which is great, because I want to create all this content, these assets for you, the viewers and the listeners. If you're on Spotify, because we're now on Spotify now, and I'm going to be pushing it out to all the other podcasts. I believe there's an Apple one and a Google one and all these other areas, iHeartRadio and all these other podcast channels that we can push it out to. So I want to thank you once again for listening. Please let me know your thoughts and what you think about this podcast in the comments. Please share this with somebody so that way they can help improve their lives in any way that they want to. And I appreciate you. At the bottom of the day, I appreciate you. And keep dreaming, keep daring, keep doing. I'm your host, Augustine Azevedo, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great rest of the Thursday. Take care.